Hi there, peeps. Here to give you a little bit of biographical information about our next author in 75B, Sui Sin Far. Now, that is an anglicization of her Chinese name. Her given name is Edith Maud Eaton. There's a picture of her right there. What do we need to know about her? Well, she was born in England um, to a Chinese mother and an English father. Now, the father had met her mother while doing some kind of missionary work in England. So they were a real uh, multiracial couple in a time, especially in England, especially in the upper middle class, where it simply wasn't very common at all. Another really important point: she was the second oldest of 16 siblings. So that's a lot of kids. Now, her whole family moved to New York and then to Montreal when she was a very young girl. And there, her father engaged in different kinds of occupations, tried to make a living as an art painter. And she often helped him with those kinds of endeavors. But probably the most operative fact we know about her, especially in relationship to the other writers we've been looking at in English 75B, is that she worked as a journalist. And again, she's working as a journalist on the West Coast. So here we're starting to once again get a better feel for that West Coast feed. And most of it is coming out of this journalism thread. If you remember, Mark Twain and also Ambrose Bierce worked as journalists too along the Pacific coast. And what's really remarkable about Sui Sin Far is that she writes short stories that bring to the foreground um, the back and forth or the push and pull between assimilating and becoming American, um, and with, on the other side, adhering to and embracing cultural tradition. And it's not really a switch that's just turned on or off once and it's permanent. Um, for all of us who find ourselves between two or more cultures and traditions, know that it's almost like a slider, or like a temperature reader, or even a dial. Sometimes it goes way over to assimilation side, and sometimes it does come back to cultural tradition. And a lot of that has to do with other contextual elements, whether it be the social situation, um, what other people are around, what the actual cultural tradition is, or national or local tradition is in the setting in which it takes place. So far, does a really, really great job of exploring this kind of moving back and forth of the needle. And she does it in Miss Spring Fragrance really well, which is not only a story about, that sliding back and forth between cultural traditions, and which, in this case, being Chinese cultural traditions, and what is a you know increasingly changing and modernizing American way of doing things. So it's a nice short story. It's got a little bit of a marriage plot in it too, but it's got a lot of very nice interaction between Miss Spring Fragrance and her husband. So two relationships, uh, marriage and a courtship relationship, shuttle back and forth at the heart of this story. I hope you like it.